Ladies and gentlemen, DBNA Television is proud to bring you a Roar Media production, the nation's #1 digital coaches show. If you do not know him, you better Google him. He was a high school Hall of Famer, school record holder, 10-time letter winner. He was just a boy with a ball and a young man with visions of greatness from the land of Hoosiers. When his playing days were over, he wanted to give back to the game that provided him purpose. He had found his passion on the hardwood. 14 years college coaching, multiple regional and conference championships, multiple national rank programs, coached the National Player of the Year. Winning followed him to 15 seasons professional coaching, multiple championships, multiple Coach of the Year honors, near 780 win percentage. He placed over 100 players to their respected national teams that represented their countries at the World Championships and Olympic Games. He has coached current and former NBA stars. His purpose is now to serve, empower, inspire. Here he is, host of the Coach Scott Field Show. Make some noise, show some love. Host Scott Field.
Welcome to another edition of the Coach Scott Field Show. I am super excited to have Mr. Rick Barry join us live on the show today. I got to thank a few people here right from the get-go. Thank you to DBNA Television and Roar Media for the opportunity to serve on these platforms. I want to thank everybody for allowing us to come into your homes, whether you're on the dial on a podcast or maybe you're streaming live on your television or even your laptop, iPads, or cell phones. I want to thank you for this opportunity to provide this empowering information, and I can't thank my friend Mr. Rick Barry for joining us live today. Rick, thank you so much. I know you're joining us today from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, well, I'm actually close by. I'm actually in Lakewood Ranch, which is the fastest growing community in the United States. It's just northeast of Sarasota, but it's beautiful. I've been a snowbird ever since my son Canyon finished up his collegiate career. We followed him around for 4 years. He finished at Florida. My wife's got family here and about 45 minutes away in St. Pete Beach. So I don't want to shovel snow anymore. So I spend the late spring and summer and early fall up in Colorado, where it's awesome, and stay away from the heat and humidity here. So I have the best of both worlds. Very blessed, healthy. Hope the same is true for you and your family and for all your listeners in this crazy, chaotic time that we're living in. And I just hope that we get back to some sense of normalcy, get this pandemic under control, and just stop with the divisiveness that's taking place, the divisiveness. I mean, I just, anyway, I don't even want to get into politics, but it doesn't matter what politics are. I don't know, that doesn't matter what you are. You don't have to hate somebody because they think differently than you, you know?
Amen.
And let's get back to the way America used to be. That would be great.
See, and I'm with you, and I'm glad that you at least spoke on the climate. And, I'd be remiss if we didn't start off the show by saying, our condolences to, Hank Aaron, who passed away today. We lost. Yeah, we lost an icon today, wow. But hey, thrilled to have an icon joining us today. I know you need no introduction, but for the younger generation of viewers who only, do things on YouTube and Twitter, let me introduce this outstanding guest that I have with us today. I am thrilled and honored to be able to have one of the top 50 players of all time joining us today. An NBA champion, a finals MVP, an 8-time All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year. Not very many people, Rick, can say that, they're the leading scorers in the NCAA, NBA, and ABA. So to have all these accolades, I could chew up an hour show just with your honors and accolades, but to have you with us today to share and talk basketball and life, and this is going to be a good time, my friend.
Well, all those things are really nice and everything, but the only thing that really matters is that, because you don't play for individual awards, you play to win championships.
Right. And now that you mentioned that, via text yesterday, you said you were with your good friend and buddy Clifford Ray.
Yeah, his birthday was yesterday, so
happy birthday, Cliff.
We're close. We're like brothers, and we fish together. And he lives a couple hours away from me, up outside of Orlando, and so I went over and visited with him to take him out to dinner for his birthday yesterday. So yeah, Cliff is great. And then it was great because so many of the guys called. Butch Beard, our starting point guard, we gave him major hell on the phone because he didn't make it over. He's down in Florida, and he didn't make it over for the dinner. But you know, Jeff Mullins and Charles Dudley and all the George Johnson, the guys that are all still around, Jamal Wilkes. I mean, it's a very special thing when you're on a championship team. That's why I tell people, I was a very good tennis player and I was a very good golfer, but you don't have, who do you share that with? Right. I mean, golf is an individual sport. You have a coach who works with you. He's not out there playing with you. Same thing with tennis. You got a coach that tries to help you, but he's not out there playing with you. I mean, the only thing in tennis, when you win some doubles, at least you have one doubles partner. But when you have a team situation, you become like a family and you share so much. And it's just so wonderful to get back together. And it's just it's a special time in life when you can spend that kind of time and get the kind of closest that you have and achieve success. So that's the beauty of team sports.
Amen to that. I got to meet Cliff when he was actually assisting one of my best friends in the industry, Keith Smart, when he was there at Sacramento together. And we got to talk a little bit of fishing there for a moment and had some great times. And definitely want to talk to you about some of that fishing. But man, that background, you and I were talking about it before we went live. That is just beautiful background scenery there from Alaska.
Yeah, I wish I was there when the photo was taken. I've been up there and I've got some beautiful photos, but that's spectacular. And yeah, that's right from the deck of the lodge on the Iliamna River out in the middle of nowhere, 300 miles from civilization, and the fishing is off the charts. And that's my passion. You have to have passions in life, Coach. And my basketball was always my passion, and not always. It was baseball first, and then it became basketball. And fortunately, that lasted a long time, but you have to have other passions. And then I got into long driving and golf, and then I got into playing pickleball now, and fishing is a big passion of mine, especially fly fishing. And so I think in life, you want to have those passions. You have to have something that you really look forward to doing. And this is what I try to tell kids when I talk to them all of the time is that, look, if you don't get anything else out of what I'm telling you here today, please get this. Find something that you love, that you truly love. Learn as much about it as you can. Learn all the fundamental principles and concepts of it, whether it's basketball, whether it's music, whether it's, I don't know, being an attorney, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. Then you have an opportunity to be as good as you possibly can be because you understand what it is you're doing. You understand the basic fundamentals and principles. There's guys in the NBA today who are there on sheer athleticism who will never be as good as they should be because they don't know how to use that incredible God-given talent as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And so I said, and here's the deal. Just think about it. I played basketball. I love basketball. It was my passion. Someone paid me. I got paid to play basketball. Just think of that. You don't work for a living when you're doing what you love to do because you look forward to it. It's your passion. It's not a job. I said, you don't want to be a person that gets up and, I got to go to work today. No, I get to go play basketball today and some crazy person out there is going to pay me. This is,
Oh, I'm with you. And I'm glad to hear you say that because, we share similar passions and we've had, similar, things that we've done in our lives. I mean, you get to win a championship with the Warriors, and my buddy Keith Smart allowed me to come be with the Golden State Warriors with him at the NBA Summer League when Steph Curry was just a rookie. Scooter Berry, your son, actually went to Germany. I was actually the head coach of a German team the year before he got to Germany. And I mean, the fact that, you talked about passions, outdoors and fishing and fly fishing, those are some of my passions. So to think that, we get to share those things, but yet you and we've also adopted a child into our lives. I believe you adopted a daughter and we adopted a son, and my son is now actually playing professionally over in Europe in the country of Georgia. So there's some similarities there. And I love that. And that's why I can't wait to dive deeper into those things.
Yeah, well, life is very interesting. Life is a series of events that take place. Some are good, some are bad. And what I try to tell people, I said, look, it's never going to be perfect. I mean, everything isn't going to go the way you want it to go. But if you're an intelligent person, you learn from the mistakes that you make. You're going to make mistakes. Just understand that. You will make mistakes in life. The intelligent people learn from those mistakes, and you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And if it's really sad and it's really something that is depressing, cry, get over it, and move on because you can't change what happened.
Great point. Great point. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we've got Rick Barry here with us, and his accolades are phenomenal. But the fact that he's just an outstanding person and individual, he's sharing tools with us today for your toolbox so that you can become a better version of yourself. And I love this conversation that we're having. You spoke on passion just a few minutes ago, and, we share a passion for this game of basketball. And to chop it up with someone with your knowledge, to me, I'd be crazy if I didn't soak this up like a sponge because, we share those passions. But Rick, where did that passion of basketball come from for you? Where did it all start?
Well, as I say, basically it was baseball. First of all, I was a much better baseball player in high school than I was a basketball player. But it all comes from my father. My father was a semi-pro player and coach. My father was a perfectionist, and I'm a perfectionist. But as I got older, I realized, well, I'll never play the perfect game, but I always try to. And so it's just never being satisfied with what you do. I tell people, I'm going to talk to businesses, you can't ever get to a point in life where you think you have the answers to everything. And okay, I've got it now. Once that happens, that's the start of your downward spiral. I mean,
Amen.
You have nowhere else to go if you don't keep trying to get better. Now, you may not get better, but you're always trying to get better. Just a perfect example. I was the best free throw shooter in the history of the game for a long time, right? I still think that I am, even though my record isn't there as it is. And the reason it is that my free throw percentage the last 6 years playing, and I'm proud of this and I'll brag about it because it's the only part of the game you can be selfish and help your team. I changed my technique that my dad taught me. My last 6 years, I shot over 92%. Wow. My last 2 years, I shot over 94% from the free throw line. And I only missed 19 free throws in 2 seasons. Okay. And I can tell you that's 19 times I was really upset with myself because I needed, but that's just me. So you can always get better. You can always and you should always be striving to get better in what you're doing.
Yeah. See, I love that because to me, if you can challenge yourself and hold yourself accountable to be the best, because we are human, we are going to make mistakes and we do have flaws. But if you can make it a game within the game, that's how I would challenge my players around the globe when we won multiple championships, is to find ways to challenge yourself to make it fun. So like your free throws. I would actually, when I would have assistant coaches watching my team shoot free throws, I would challenge them that if they hit the front of the rim and it went in, I'd give them a 3. If it hit the back of the rim and it went in, I'd give them a 4. If it was a perfect swish and hit no rim, I'd give them a 5 because I wanted those players to focus on getting the perfect swish 5. And then the next thing you know, they went from 75 to 83% just because now they were challenging themselves to not just make the free throw, but shoot the perfect free throw and to get the perfect swish. So to challenge yourself to, find ways to become better at it, I think is a great tactic. And I heard you kind of, emphasize that as, that was your way of helping your team be better when you're winning championships and scoring titles and, to only miss 17 free throws in 2 seasons. Come on. I mean, Steph Curry, can't even do it. It was 19. Okay. 19. But that's unbelievable that, you challenge yourself to be as perfect as you could be.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, and it actually makes it kind of more fun. I mean, I won a lot of lunches during the course of my career. I would challenge the guys to say after practice, because they had those morning shoot arounds, which by the way, because other coach, I hate morning shoot arounds. I think they're the biggest waste of time ever. Seriously. I mean, that started out with it was Bill Sharman who got started doing that with us back in 1967. Come on, shoot around. I mean, back then, all it was, I know what it was get you out of bed. Okay.
Yeah, get you moving.
You spend your day and leave your game in bed, and you get loggy and
get lethargic.
My thing is so we get dressed in short and jeans and some sneakers and go over to go and just to shoot. And he said, get used to the baskets, but get you out of bed. And now it's a full scale freaking workout. I mean, I don't understand why, especially it's fine if you got guys that aren't playing and you want to get them over there and give them a chance to work out. But if I'm playing 40 something minutes a game, why do I want to expend any energy at 10 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I just don't understand the rationale behind it. I really don't. One of the greatest stories ever about that is that, two great stories. And so
please share.
Now this is a great one. So Bill Sharman, who I really liked as a person, but I didn't like playing for him because he took the fun out of the game for me. We didn't get days off. It was too regimented. It was
He made it a job. He made it a job.
Made it a job. I mean, what the hell? I mean, so one time I asked him, I said, Bill, we were in Boston Garden where we, playing Boston Garden, and we stayed at the hotel that's right next to it, which is like, it's 5 minutes in a cab ride to get to the Logan Airport. I mean, you come out, you go through the Sumner Tunnel, the airport's right there. And we didn't charter and do all that stuff that these guys do now. So you get done with the game, you don't fall asleep till 2 o'clock in the morning by the time you find a place to eat for your $8 a day per diem. And so now I'm saying, Bill, and in those days you had to take the first available flight out to the next city to play the next night, right? So if we have a flight that's like, the flight's at like 7 o'clock in the morning to get up after you're doing it. So I said, Bill, how about, can we leave because then you didn't have security or anything of that nature, right? So he said, okay, we're going to leave for the airport at 5. I said, Bill, it's a 5-minute ride to the airport. Why are we leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning? I said, can I just leave like maybe 5:45? I'll be there by 6. I'm an hour ahead of the flight time. Well, and of course, no, couldn't do it. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I go nuts. So then we're going in LA, and we get into the van that's going to take us over, and we go and we go to Loyola Marymount, right close by to where we're staying. And I'm going, Bill, and this is because I love to do this kind of stuff. I said, are we playing here tonight? And he goes, of course not. We're playing at the sports arena, which is where we played back then, or whatever we were playing at. And so I said, well, why do I want to get used to these baskets? That was his whole thing, to get used to the baskets. I said, if we're not playing here, why do I want to get used to these baskets?
Great point.
I was just being a smart ass. I mean, did it just
no, but it's a great point. Yeah.
Well, it was a very valid point, actually.
Right.
But I knew it wasn't because of getting used to the baskets, because he wanted to get me out of bed. So I said, well, if you want to get me out of bed, why don't we just have a meeting at the hotel and we can talk about stuff. We can walk through things there. I'm out of bed. Why do I have to go to the arena? So, and use any energy whatsoever.
Right.
And so the greatest thing. So then he leaves and goes to the Lakers, right? And Wilt Chamberlain comes and he's coaching, and Wilt's there. So after Wilt experiences some of this, he said, Bill, listen, here's the deal. I'm going to show up at the arena one time today. Do you want me at 10 in the morning or at 7 at night? That's classic. I wish I had thought of that.
It's about the game. Come on, Allen Iverson's famous for that rant. We're talking about practice. Now we're talking about the game, right? Oh man. Well, Rick, I sit there and think about, gosh, the accolades that you had achieved as a player. Who was one of the first professional mentors that you had, or a teammate who took you under your wing? And what did you learn from him that helped you become a better pro?
Well, actually, the one that was most responsible for having me ready to go was my college coach, who wound up being my father-in-law, Bruce Hale. He was a former pro player. We played pro style basketball in college. So I had 4 years of being in the minor leagues, getting ready for the pros. And so he taught me a great many things to expect. So I was totally prepared when I went to the pros. And so he's the one that was the most instrumental instrumental person for getting me ready to go. Because it's not very often, I don't even know how many times it's actually happened, that a rookie comes out and makes first team all pro. Yeah. I made first team all pro as a rookie. People say, well, he was rookie of the year. I says, wait a second, rookie of the year? No, I was first team all pro.
Right.
Right. Rookie of the year.
That's right. Yes.
So, but that's because I was ready. I was prepared. I was taught by my dad. I understood how to play the game. And then I was taught some refinements and things that I needed to be prepared for. And I tell people, I said, to be honest with you, it was easier playing pro basketball than in college, because in pro basketball, I had one guy guarding me.
Yeah. Yeah.
In college, I had the whole team geared to try to stop me, box and one, triangles and twos. I said, this is unbelievable. I only got one guy.
There you go. Awesome. Beat him off the dribble and hit that passionate floater and slasher like you were.
Yeah, well, I mean, even that, you brought up a point here. Too much to the dribble stuff. I mean, this is dribble-itis. players have today. I mean, my God, you are nowhere near as effective a player. The only person that should be dribbling an extensive number of times is your point guard, because to keep the ball alive. The other players get it on the wing. You should no business dribbling the ball when you get it on the wing. You see where the defense is, you get set. I use my dribble as a productive dribble. My dribble is going to be a dribble to get me even. And I tell people, I said, nobody talks about it. I don't have to beat my guy. I only got even with my guy. If I get my shoulder even with him, he's toast.
There you go. That's right.
I don't have to go by him. I just need to get even with him.
Yeah.
And so people don't understand that, but I'm going to see how he's there, see how he's playing me, and I'm going to attack him based upon how he's guarding me in order to get him to be the slight. This is so easy and nobody does this anymore. I'm going nuts when I watch basketball.
Oh, you and me both.
I mean, I really do. I mean, it's dribble, 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 dribble. And these guys beat people, and they're not even doing it right. I'm saying, oh my God. I tried to actually get with LeBron James when I first met him early in his career. And I said, LeBron, I said, I really admire your talent and whatever. I said, but I'll tell you what, I can teach you some things that would take your game to a whole new level if you're interested. Never took me up on it.
Oh my goodness.
No,
really?
Never took me up on it. And it's still to that point. And I was the one that made a big stink about his shooting. The Cleveland people, it took them 2 years to finally get, when they were playing the Warriors in the championship, to say, are you saying that it's the coach's fault? I said, hell yes, it's the coach's fault. How can you have a player with this amazing talent that he has have a flawed shot? I mean, a major flawed shot with his elbow flying out here. You can never be a great shooter if your elbow's out. It's just impossible. And so they finally made a deal. If you look at LeBron early and see where it is, he's got it in, but he's never been a great shooter. In fact, I said, listen, this is God's way of equalizing things. Because if LeBron James actually was a great shooter, he'd be so good they'd have to outlaw him.
True. So true. And see, I love to hear you say that, Rick, because I'm one of those guys that it's all about the attention to detail. What can I do to get the repetitions, to get the muscle memory, to get the proper mechanics? And those things are not taught anymore. And so when I go into high school gyms or see an AAU tournament and coaches are screaming and there's no teaching, it drives me nuts. And then when I listen to some of the broadcasters who are sharing what is their knowledge, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, what are they talking about? It's not even what's going on.
A lot of times when I watch stuff now, I don't even listen, because if I listen, it really, I said, I can't even stand. I said, what game are they watching? What are they talking about? They're not even talking about stuff that I see. Why aren't you saying this? Why aren't you talking about that? I mean, you're talking about the obvious that any fool knows they just saw what happened. Tell me something that they didn't see that happened.
There you go.
I mean, that's why if you're a broadcaster, you're supposed to be bringing something additional to the telecast. And they don't do it. And so, and the reason I got fired from mine is because of the fact that, they didn't rehire me, is because of the fact that I was honest and I would tell the truth. They don't want to. I felt like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth.
You want me on that wall.
Most people can't handle the freaking truth. Yeah. And the same thing in basketball, like I even had, you're a coach and doing stuff. I hear coaches, on the broadcast. Well, this is something that I'm going to keep hammering this to the day I die. They have to change the terminology in basketball as far as setting a screen. You don't set anything. There's no such thing as setting a screen. It does not exist. You are a stationary freaking object. What you have to learn is to put yourself in the right position so your teammate can make you a screener.
There you go.
It just drives me nuts. I mean, I hear coach, well, he didn't set a very good screen. No, his teammate didn't do a good job of making him
set him up. That's right. There you go.
And I talked with Clifford, who was unbelievable. And Clifford and I said, Clifford, we should go around and hire ourselves out to go out and show people how to run the two-man game, because people have no idea how to run it as effectively as it should be run. And I don't think anybody's ever run it as well as we did. Clifford was unbelievable about putting himself in the right position. I knew how to set my man up properly. And it's an unstoppable play if you know what you're doing.
Yep.
You can't prevent me from getting something off this play, because there's always a counter to it. You're on the defensive.
Yep.
And
if
the guys are now hedging and cheating, where's the slips of the screens? I don't ever see a slip screen anymore.
Yeah.
Clifford and I would have a communication. If he saw me nod my head, he knew that I'm telling you, your man is out of position. Go to the basket. You're getting the dunk.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Just with eye contact. That's
just
all it
simple
takes.
little things that aren't being taught, the things that are not being talked about on TV. I scouted a game when I was still doing, I watched the game. It was Chicago, Atlanta in the playoffs a number of years ago. 59 moving screens took place. The officials didn't call. The officials let them get away with murder. Why?
Yep.
Because and here's why players do it. The coach said, you didn't set a good screen. So that means I have to do something. So if your man does a lousy job, they move because, I have to set a screen.
Yep. Here comes that hip, or here comes that.
Here's the little thing here. I mean, my God, why don't we get this straight? I mean, this is the fundamentals of the freaking game. This is what I talked about earlier. I go absolutely bonkers with that. And then the other one I go with now, the gather step. No, if you pick up your one foot and put it down and bring your other foot and bring it next to it without a dribble, that's a travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a freaking travel.
Yep. It's true.
I'll go to my grave, my son, because I was so disappointed who was on the Spurs. The Spurs got screwed out of a championship on Ray Allen's 3-point shot from the baseline when he caught the ball, stepped behind the line, brought his other foot there and shot the ball. That's a travel. I mean, anyway, this is the kind of stuff that I'm passionate about the game. I love the game. You can call me a purist, whatever you want. No, these are the rules of the game.
That's right.
Let's not even get into carrying the basketball.
Yeah. And see, Rick, I love that because you're a purist. We enjoy the purities and the subtleties of the game that makes the game so beautiful. And here's the thing, these players today, they're not being taught at the grassroots level. Everybody's in such a hurry. They won't wait to, like you said, to set up and let that man get set to where they can rub off shoulders and come off that screen or engage the big man. Or like you said, simple eye communication where they slip. I live in Salt Lake City now where, I was able to observe and consult with Coach Jerry Sloan, and who did the pick and roll, like Stockton and Malone out here, and then all the variations that came off that pick and roll, and then all the ways that people would try to defend it. Like you said, it's such a simple nuance, and people try to make the game more difficult because they're trying to emulate what they see on Sports Center, and they don't have the skills to do it. And then it gets so saturated and diluted with people trying to do too much.
Yeah, well, even Stockton Malone didn't do it right. They did it off the They were great. They were great at how they did it, but they didn't do it as effectively as it should be run.
There you go.
Off the dribble.
Yeah.
John was dribbling the ball, and I mean, it was a dribble. I mean, they didn't run it as effectively as could be run. And then the one that drives me totally nuts, if I'm playing on the wing, why in the world do I want, I'm free throw line extended out in the wing. Why do I want my big man coming from the top of the key to supposedly set a screen for me so I can go away from the basket?
Right. Yeah. I hear you. It's all about those angles.
The games, they hate me because I would talk about this stuff. And I'm sure the league probably hates it because I'm bringing out all the faults that they have and the problems that are there. But it needs to be brought up because that's not the way the game was meant to be played.
There you go. There you go. I love it. And it's true. And I love that you're being real and honest and 100% authentic here. Let me ask you this. If you had the power to change a rule in today's NBA, what rule would you change?
Well, I mean, just my biggest thing would be just call the game according to the rules the way they're written.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
If I had one thing to do to make the game better, I would change the game into 2 halves. 2 halves, 20-minute halves, like college.
There you go. Yeah.
And you get 1 point if you win the first half. You get 1 point if you win this, half a point if you tie the second half, because it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
And what you would have is a lot of overtime games, because everybody always said the one thing NBA, oh, well, yeah, the last 5 minutes is all you got to watch, blah, blah, blah. Well, this way you would get not only the last possibility of 5 minutes at the end of the first half, you have the possibility of 5 minutes out of the second half, and you're going to get a bunch of overtimes. So you're getting those 5 intense times when the game is on the line and you have to really perform and play at a high level. And so it's kind of like even in tennis. In tennis, a guy wins 6-11 in the first set, you don't turn it off. But in a basketball game, if a team's up 25 points in the first half, the chances of them coming back and winning are pretty slim.
Sure.
Pretty boring. Whereas this way, okay, they got their first point, but here's the other reason. You can also cut back on the minutes of the players. They want to try to save them now. They're coming with this I forget what the terminology they use. I can't even stand it because I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit on the bench.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so now they're trying to cut their minutes back. You get a chance to play your other players. So I'm coaching my team. I'm up 15 with 3-4 minutes to go in the first half. I can put my reserves in and give them 4 minutes of play and save my other guys for the second half.
Yeah.
Because they put the lead in and they cut it back instead of losing by 5, and they screw up. And instead of winning by 15, I only win by 5.
Yeah. Well, and like what I hear you describing is something else we've shared in common. We've both been head coaches in the CBA, and in the CBA, you would get points for winning the quarter. So everything mattered and everything was a special situation, which were teachable moments, which to me is the beautiful thing. And I would love to see some of that come back, because make it matter, make it worth something.
Yeah, I don't like the quarters. I coached there and did it. I like the half. The quarters is too much. It's crazy. And because the half gives you a chance to play your reserves, to cut back on minutes. The quarters, you have to play your people. It's so important. You're forcing guys to have to play more. It goes against what you're trying to accomplish, which is to give more play to your players, because each quarter, you may have to play your guys a lot more time. Whereas if you got a nice big lead in the first half, you can, boom, give a guy a little rest. Now you go and you play. And then at the end, the strategy changes. I can play for a tie if I won the first half.
There you go. Yep. There you go. Love that. See,
well, it makes it really interesting. I mean, so if there was a thing I would change, that's what I would change.
See,
and demand that the officials call the damn rules according to what it is in the book. Like, I'll tell you what, as a coach, I'm sure it'd drive you nuts, and you've seen it many times.
Oh,
so you're in a close game, right? And here's the problem with this, is that I think that the officials are always told, look, let the players decide the outcome of the game. So they don't want to blow their whistle. Well, the thing is, you have to blow your whistle, because if they create an infraction, they're determining the outcome, not you. All you're doing is blowing the whistle because they did something against the rules. Right. So you get a guy come, they go to the basket, 2 guys freaking collide, they both wind up on the court, and there's no whistle. I'm sorry. It's either a block or a charge.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yep.
It can't be a no call.
Yeah. And see, and I agree. I've had Joey Crawford as a guest on my show. I had Derek Stafford as a guest.
Crawford. Joey, rabbit ears Crawford. Joey Crawford was one of those guys that I said to officials, here, if you can't see it, don't call it.
Yeah.
Officials will make a call, and the angle they had, they couldn't possibly have seen what happened between this guy and the guy I'm guarding if he is behind my back. He can't see it.
Yeah. So they call what they think they see.
Yeah, right. You anticipate. So it's very simple. If I was the head of the officials, if you don't see it, here's the deal. And if you don't do it, you're going to be rated based upon it. If you're making calls that you are in a bad position, have a bad angle, and you're making calls on that, that's a big negative for you. You're not going to get the work playoffs. You're not going to make the extra money. You're not going to go up in the stature as far as how good an official are you. If you can't see it, don't call it.
There you go. See, and that right there, that clarity and that clarification would be something so nice, because it would bring back some of the other fans that, like, when you played, the game was so physical, and now the rules have changed so much that of course, it's so we get more points, and there's space and pace, and there's more scoring. But man, there's a lot of that 70s and 80s game that missed.
Coach, back when I played, we scored like crazy.
Yeah.
That was 120, 130. I mean, we scored a lot of points. I mean, it got to the point when Mike Fratello was coaching at Cleveland and he didn't have a great team. He started holding the ball and doing stuff because he wanted to keep his job and he wanted to win. And if you don't have the talent, you can't play up and down. If you don't have great athletes doing stuff, you can't play that game. So you use the shot clock, and you don't take shots, unless there's 3 seconds or less in the shot clock. You play the clock, and I understood that. I mean,
sure.
But the thing is that's the other thing is that for me, when in coaching that I learned in doing, and I really actually didn't think I was going to like coaching that much, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the teaching more than anything else.
That's what it's all about.
Is that too many coaches have and I don't know, I may be insulting you. If I am, I apologize. But the bottom line is that you have to be adjustable. You can have a philosophy how you'd like the game to be played, offensively and defensively, but you have to employ the strategy based upon the personnel that you have.
Exactly. Put your players in a position to be successful.
Able to change your offense and your defense based upon the personnel that you have.
100%, Rick. 100%. I believe this. I believe that this game is so overcoached and so undertaught. That's what I believe.
I'm with you on that 100%. That's why I'm not a huge fan of AAU. There's too many AAU programs out there that are just doing kids. They're not teaching them how to play the game the right way. Hey, use your athleticism, go out there, run faster, jump higher, and let's go win some games. But don't teach you how to play the game the absolute proper way to play the game. So I'm totally and completely with you. There's just not enough teaching. I asked one guy one time when I said to a coach, he said, "Well, we don't have the time." I said, "Well, shit, then you make the time."
That's teach the game. That's right,
guys. I had a kid that I coached in the minor leagues that this kid should have been a Michael Jordan-esque kind of player in the pros, but he never had anybody teach him what to do. He was as tall, but bigger and stronger and more athletic maybe than Michael. He was unbelievable physical specimen and one of the nicest young men I've ever met in my life. He's 26 years old when I have him. He's got a wife and some kids. I can't play him because he doesn't know how to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so sad. You know, he wants to get there, stay late after practice, work hard, the greatest attitude. And I said to Clifford Ray, who was my assistant at the time, I said, "Yo," as I nicknamed him, "Yo," I said, "Can you imagine what we could have turned this kid into if we ever had him when he was younger?" It broke my heart.
Right.
Because I love greatness. And I see these players who really don't have any clue. I mean, I had one kid come to my team. I'm not going to mention the colleges, but
sure.
He got the ball down in the post and he took it, and I said, and he turned to square up to the basket, right? When his back was to the basket, he pivoted and took himself 3 feet further from the basket. I said, "Whoa, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm squaring up." I said, "I know you're squaring up, but why are you squaring up and taking yourself 3 feet further from the basket?
Yeah.
Why would you not get down low and turn hard and keep your head down and stay where you are?" He said, "That's what I was taught."
Oh. Yeah,
I said,
see, that kills me.
That's what you were taught?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm with you, Rick. I'm with you.
That's what I try to go and teach kids here. I mean, I had a kid here this guy was Darren Hancock, Kansas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Darren Hancock was one of the most gifted athletes. This kid was an incredible athlete, a great individual defender, had no clue about team defense, had major flaw in his shot. And so I got him in the minor leagues. He had been in the NBA and he comes to me. I said, "Darren, we got to work on your shot." I said, didn't anybody when you were up there talk to you about this?" He said, "No." And I go to Claire. I said, "You got to be freaking kidding me. You're paying this guy all this money and you have terrible form in your shot and nobody's trying to work on you and nobody's talked to you about the concepts of team defense." I mean, it was mind numbing to me. And then I had a great player in college who went on to the pros and became all-star and doing stuff. I won't mention names or anything to get people ticked off. Sitting down and we're talking, and I said, "Well, what are you thinking?" He said, "Rick, I thought when I came here to the pros that I would be learning so much more to help my game." He said, "They haven't taught me anything."
That's a shame.
Isn't that a sad commentary?
It is.
This is why I'm saying this thing about hiring friends. You hire your friend only if he's really qualified. Okay.
Amen.
There are guys that have been hired who have no clue how to play the pro game. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, there's such a difference between the college game and the pro game. If I was going to coach, the only coaches I would have would be former players who played in the NBA to work with my players in their positions. Now, I'll hire a guy who I have great respect and knows the game to go and do some scouting for me, to have some defensive concepts and things to work with, the fine things there, but not as a guy to work with the players on his skill development on the pro level.
Right.
And yet there are tons of them out there that are hired and doing it. I just shake my head and say, "Oh my God, it's unbelievable." It really is unbelievable.
And see, Rick, I'm with you. I'll sit there and I'll see some of these guys on social media who are training these guys and they're tapping. I'm like, that doesn't emulate the game. That's not emulating game speed. That's not teaching them the right thing. And it it drives me crazy to see some of the things that I see because I love this game so much. But again, we got to take the time to teach. And if you're a great teacher, you can be a great coach. And that comes with leadership and communication skills. And, and those are things that you had. You had those attributes, Brick, where not only were you just so passionate, you were a great leader. What do you feel are some of the skills that are missing from today's leaders in today's game?
Well, they're not teaching the game properly, and they let
True.
guys get away with stuff. I mean, you can't do that. You can't turn your head to things. You have to address things and face them, and guys have to accept it. And if you're not going to accept it, I mean, I always said one thing. I remember Derek Coleman, right?
Yeah, Syracuse
with the Nets and stuff.
Yeah,
when he did the Nets and doing. Here's my thing: if you get a player who has an attitude, I don't care how much he's making. The coach should have the authority to go and say to this is what they should say. Look at this guy. I'm trying everything to get him to, and he's just got his own agenda. You should go in and call his agent in, sit in the office with the general manager and the coach and say, here's the deal. We have tried everything to get you to conform, to do the things the way we want them done in this organization. You seem to have another agenda. So here's the deal. Tell us where you want us to send your checks because we don't want you to show up in this building again. And we'll let you know if we find somebody who wants to have and take your lousy attitude and deal with it, because we're not going to deal with it anymore. You're no longer a part of this basketball team. So just give us where you want the check sent and we'll let you know if we make a trade for you.
Yeah.
They need to have the guts to do that sometime.
It's true. You
not that many guys who are sometimes that bad, but they need to be able to bench the star players who are not going to go and play the game the way it should be played and be a team player.
Yeah,
like Will Chamberlain, God rest his soul, who I got to know after we got done playing ball and just really loved Will. The inmates are running the asylum.
Yep,
that was his book.
Yep.
The inmates are running the asylum, and it's true. They have given too much power to the players. You are an employee. You don't own the freaking team.
Yeah.
You're an employee. You have to do what the hell you're supposed to do when you're on the damn job. And let's just get real about this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that they're letting these guys get away with the stuff that they get away with because they're kissing their butts because they're so afraid, he might not play. Hey, don't play him.
There you go. That's the strongest message you can send.
The one thing they all want to play. Well, you know what? If you want to play, you're going to play the way I want you to play, and we want you to play, not the way you want to play.
Amen. Amen. See, you like you said, you can't let the tail wag the dog. And as a coach, what you don't correct, you accept. So hold these kids accountable, teach them the right way. And again, I think that comes from the grassroots AAU stuff. They're not teaching the life lessons. The discipline is fading.
Well, look at stuff when they make these big displays, when something gets done, they're making, hey, you know what? I tell my players when I was in the minor leagues, you know what? You already made your statement. You just made a great play. Everybody saw it. You don't need to be pulling out your jersey. You don't be able to make all these gyrations and all this stuff. Same thing in the football. They let all this stuff go. Oh, it's entertaining. No, it's not entertaining. Right. I can't stand watching it. Okay. You're drawing attention to yourself. Oh, look at me. And then especially when guys do that, they're trailing by 20 points and they're making a big deal on a play they just made. I mean, your team's losing.
Yep. That's you don't need to celebrate. You do your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
I blame the coaches.
I'm with you. I think there's a lot of that.
Allowed it to happen. No, you're not going to do that. You think Vince Lombardi would have ever let any of his players do that bullshit? No. No.
There you go.
All about the coach maintaining control of it. You are the employee. Your job. You're getting paid to come out and perform, but you're going to do it the way we want you to do it. Not the way you want to do it. Yep. And that's the part that bothers me the most about sports and what's happening today. Some stuff is, hey, now, if something happens and it was a great play at the end, you're excited. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. But I have a real problem with it. I really, truly do have a great.
Yeah, I understand. I guess we're considered old school, so it sounds like we're that, get off my lawn kind of guy. But again, we're purists and we love the game and we want to see the game passed on the right way because we care about the game. So I love to hear you say that. It was so fun for me when I was coming up the ranks as a coach that I was lucky enough to be around Tex Winter. And I loved to be around Tex when he would teach the game, because he would slow everything down, and he did a lot of 3-on-3 stuff to where he could teach the pass, the cuts, the things were important. And I saw your youngest son playing in that 3-on-3, and I saw his skills because of that 3-on-3 stuff, and I love that. And I wish we get more of that.
The fact that my youngest son is not in the NBA is a travesty.
Yeah.
My son is such a smart player and does not really have a weakness. I mean, you saw him, because 3-on-3, you got to know how to play.
That's amen.
It's the only gold medal the USA had not won the summer before last. They had never won a gold medal in 3x3. Not only he did that, he was the 5th leading scorer in the entire tournament doing it. They went undefeated. They won the gold medal. He's got chosen again. He's going to be training again to go for the Olympic qualifying tournament. How in the hell you can win the world championship and not qualify for the Olympics is beyond me. But anyway, that's the way it is. Yeah. But he really knows how to play.
That's right. Cerebral.
But nobody gives him, my son has not been given the opportunity, and somebody's turning him loose to play. I mean, you understand basketball. So my son averaged 7. In fact, one coach that had him over there when he was playing in the G League said, "I love your son, but I have to play the two-way guys."
Yeah, the back
of his position. But he said, "I'm putting him out of position on the court." He said, "But I know he's going to make the right decision if the game's close, and I want him out in the court." And so he played there. But with no plays run for you and getting 7 shots a game to average 10 points a game is not easy.
Right.
He had 9 points a game, 9 shots. He averaged 15. And 2 games all season, he had 15 shots, 18 shots, averaged 25. Man. He's a 40% three-point shooter. He's an 85 to 90% free throw shooter, and he's a high 2-point shooter. In fact, when he was played the only time he really had a chance where they gave him the chance to play like he's capable, he played a whole month in China, averaged 30 points, 60, 40, 90.
Hey, Rick, let me tell you something. That's the kind of kids I want playing in my franchise, because they're going to make me look even smarter, because he's cerebral. He knows and understands the game.
Never worry about him. Never worry about him.
That's right. Amen.
I just don't understand, because some of these players that these guys have chosen, they get hung up on athleticism, but my son is really athletic. And people, it's like, and I talked to some coaches about it, and it's like, oh, listen, I'm trying to preface this. Not because he's my son. I know basketball.
That's the key right there. I know basketball. Yeah.
I'm brutally honest. If my son couldn't play, I said, "Hey, he can't play. Don't worry. No, he's a nice guy, nice player, but my son can really, really play." And you could get him, you could steal him for a minimum freaking contract, and you're paying $5, $6, $7 million to guys who have major flaws in this game, major flaws.
Yeah.
But if you like an athlete, give my son's an athlete. When they send them to the they took the 1st and 2nd round draft picks and went to Chicago, and then they had the other guys go to Portsmouth who aren't projected 1st or 2nd round picks, but they do the same training in 5 areas that they test them. So I got the results of my son's stuff. I went and looked and got all the results from Chicago. If my son had been in Chicago, where he should have been, 1st in 3 of them, 1st in standing vertical, 2nd in max vertical by a half an inch, 1st in agility, 1st in one other one, and 3rd in another one. No one tested that good.
Wow. See, and again, Rick, that's the kind of kid I want on my team. Because, hey, good kid.
I want 12 guys like that.
That's right. Hey, you got a good kid, good character. He has the heart. He's cerebral, and he knows how to play the game. Come on. What more do you want?
Weak side defense. And here's the thing I love about him when I watch him play, and I love watching him play. All the times, because it was so great, because my other boys, I was working, doing stuff. I couldn't see him all the time. I got to follow him around and watch his college career. So it was just such a joy for me. But the thing I love, even in high school, if you're watching his scouting, if he did something wrong, you could see that he knew it and he's mad at himself.
Yeah, you see the body language. Yeah.
Yes. He's so mad that he didn't do the right thing.
Yeah.
There's other guys out there do something. They didn't even realize they did something bonehead. Like when I did coaching, the stuff I did in coaching, I tried to. Every time a guy did something wrong, I blow the whistle. I said, "Look, when I blow the whistle, everybody freeze." Okay, so I blow the whistle, and then I would say, "Coach," I say, Coach Scott, wait, what just happened?"
Yeah.
And what just happened?
Yeah.
I want to know if you know why I blew this whistle.
Yeah. See, I like that.
Why did I blow? I blew it. I'll tell you why. I blew it because you turned your head and had no idea where the ball was, and the other team got a freaking layup because you should have been there weak side help defense stopping that damn drive to the basket.
There you go.
And I finally do, and I blow. And I say to my guys, I didn't yell at my guys, because if you yell, they block and turn you off. I said, okay, guys, here's the deal. I don't know about you. I'm getting tired of blowing my whistle. Okay. And so I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing me blow my whistle. And you're probably tired of hearing me having to tell you why I'm blowing my whistle, with you not knowing why I blew my whistle. So why don't we all just kind of focus for a while and pay attention and stop doing these foolish things that we're doing, so that you can have more fun going up and down the court and playing. And I'll have more fun not having to blow my whistle and explain things.
There you go. That's right. That's right. See, I love it, Rick. I think this is awesome. And not to change the subject or switch gears, but with that in mind, we're both parents, and we both had children that were successful in the game because we've taught them the right way, which is important, the right way. What message would you have to parents who have kids in youth sports right now?
Here's the first thing you need to do as a parent if you have young kids. Expose them to the various sports. Let them play more than one sport.
Yes.
Let them choose what sport they like the most, and then support them in that, and get them as much teaching from someone who's going to teach them the fundamentals of the game. And I said, now, after you've done that, and you think that they really know it well, I said, then really focus on the fundamentals. So, and that's what you have to really do. Don't try to make your kid play a sport that you want him to play. Let him choose the sport that he wants to play, and give him freedom to make that decision, and then support him. But let him play more than one sport, especially in his early years. Then when he gets into high school and stuff, even then you can let him play more than one sport. You don't want to go and burn him out. I mean, there's so many, you hear stories of so many burnouts because the parents are so demanding on their kids. Yep. No, support them as much as you possibly can, but let them make the decision as to what they want to do.
Man, are you preaching to the choir here? Matter of fact, I got chills to hear you say that, because I so believe that. And to make these kids specialize at a young age, that's where the burnout's coming. Let them play multiple sports, because for me, I was better in basketball because I was the quarterback of the high school football team all 4 years. So I got used to the physicality. Track kept me in shape, and it kept me focused. And then I had to keep my grades up so I could, get my scholarship. But to make them specialized into one sport, I think is a huge mistake, Rick.
Oh, no, there's no question about that. And plus you learn other things, like, gee, you were a quarterback. So as a quarterback, you got to be able to see that damn field and see your receivers, make adjustments and stuff. Well, it's the same thing happens in basketball. You got to see the court, you got to see what's happening. And here's the thing that I think where scouts really, I just wonder, what are they watching when they decide? I can't believe that somebody wouldn't have watched my son. I've got some videos that I can show you, plays that he made. And if you saw these plays, how could you watch this play and not say, oh my God, I want this kid, because he does things that can't be taught. I can watch a player play for 5 to 10 minutes and tell you whether or not he's going to be, how good he's going to be.
Amen. Yes, because you can tell.
I want to watch and see, does he have the one thing that can't be taught, which is my number one priority. If I'm scouting, if he doesn't have this, I really don't want him. I really don't want him. I don't care how incredibly athletic and stuff he is. I don't want him, because he's never going to be as good as I'd like him to be. Does he have a natural feel for the game? I tell people, I can teach you how to pass. I can't teach you how to see.
Yep. That anticipation, because basketball is so action reaction. And if you can be the aggressor, making them have to switch, it's reads. So I get it, Rick. I love to hear you say that.
My son, one video, I said, I'll show you this one video of my son. If you watch this video and after watching it, you can't say that this kid is a player. It's him coming down. He was playing overseas at the time. Yeah. He's running backwards, watching what's happening, not running this way with his back to everything.
Yeah, can't see what's going on. Yeah.
He's running backwards, seeing what's happening. He sees the play develop. He reacts and steals the ball. Immediately takes it in one hand onto the court. One dribble, two dribbles. A defender's coming right at his grill, right at him, full speed. Off the second dribble, he takes it and it doesn't put it in his other hand ever. Throws a full court pass over a defender to a teammate for a layup. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're watching that and you know anything about the game, you got to say, oh my God, this kid really has
Yep.
he knows how to play.
Yep. See, I love that.
He reacts to stuff. What are they watching? I just don't know. What are they watching? When I see who they draft and I watch the player play, he has major flaws in his game. I mean, don't get me started on that. I feel so badly for my son.
Great conversation. Because Rick, what?
I mean, Clifford Ray, the same thing. I was just on the phone now with a coach who was an assistant coach at one of the teams and pro teams where my son had played. He said, I asked him, I said, look, let me ask you something. I said, seriously, you were there. Who do you think was the best player on your G League team? And he said, your son. I said, then why the hell didn't you guys not give him a chance? He said, because they had the other guys under contract and didn't want to admit they made a mistake.
Oh, boy. Well, let me put it this way. When I saw your son playing in that 3-on-3, I saw within 20 seconds that he could play. And
Chris Mullen was on the committee. Chris Mullen sent me a text. He said, Rick, I just saw your son playing one of the 3-on-3 games. He said, I had no idea he was so good. I said, tell me about it. I said, so he should be in the NBA. He said, I agree. So I said, well, hell, help me get him there. Will you please?
Right. Yeah. See, I'm with you. I love that. Wow. Rick, this has been such a fun conversation.
He has at least 8 to 10 years if he stays healthy that he can play and be a valuable asset to a team. And if given the opportunity, there's no telling how good he could be.
You go. There you go.
My heart. It really is breaking my heart.
Well, I hope somebody will be watching this because it shouldn't be the best kept secret. But hey, if I had the opportunity to coach him, man, he's going to make me look like a better coach. I'm just saying. he's good.
So I say I didn't have the relationships where I had somebody that was there to tell him. I mean, I talked to some coaches when I seen them. I said, look, I'm not telling you this as a father. I'm telling you this because I know the game. I'm telling you, you could steal my son. Minimum contract. You will love him.
There you go.
Love the way he plays the game. You will have someone you never have to worry about and could just do some anyway.
Yeah. Hey, show him that ring one more time because that's knowledge. That's experience. Oh, I love it. Hey, well, let me ask you this because we also share something else. You actually do a podcast. Who's one person that you haven't interviewed yet that you would love to interview for your podcast?
Well, I don't bring a lot of guys on now. You know why? Mainly because of the fact it's just fun. I kind of do it with Cyrus Satchis, who was my producer when I was doing stuff years ago at the radio at KNBR. And, he's an award-winning journalist too. But I don't have the kind of viewership. I'm not going to ask somebody to give me a whole bunch of their time to get them on a show that nobody's going to really, that many people are going to hear it or see it or something. So I've had a few people on, but not a whole lot. And I really wouldn't want to go and bring on some of the guys that I'd like to bring on who are the name players that I know. And I'd rather wait to see if it got to the point where it really was meaningful. I mean, so I'm not gonna waste their time. I mean, I enjoy talking sports and doing it. I mean, so it's fine, but I'm not going to do that for those guys because I could get a lot of I already had amazing guests on my radio show. I mean, I had national prominent people on my radio show. It was so much fun. And I love doing those kind of interviews and stuff. I mean, I had Willie Mays on, my boyhood hero.
Wow.
My first show was a 2-hour show. It was 3 hours, but I did an hour before for some other thing. And Willie Mays was my first guest, and I had him on for the full 2 hours. And then the other thing I had that was really great one time, after Barry Bonds broke the home run record, I had Barry Bonds on for 3 hours, all 3 hours of the show.
That's awesome.
And I had a lot of great guests, and it's really fun. I get into some great discussions, and it's really kind of cool. But there's so many people that I enjoy talking to that I would love to have on, but I haven't really done it because I just don't think that if it was a national show, if I had TV, I've tried to get to do some stuff, but people are afraid of me because they really are, because they know that they're not going to control me. They're not going to tell me to do something. I mean, they won't. I mean, if you're going to hire me to coach, I'm going to coach the team the way I think it should be coached. You can't tell me who to play, how to coach the team. I mean, that's ridiculous. I still have it that I saved from the minor leagues. I had one owner of the team and I'm still friendly with the other two owners. I'm really close friends with one of them, but the majority owner guy sent me a thing about this, that it was such a bullshit letter. And I responded to him in a nice way about things, trying to explain to him why I did the things that I did.
Wow.
And they didn't listen to me. I told them I wanted to trade my 2 all-star players. He thought I was nuts. I said, no, I am telling you right now, we will not win with these 2 guys. because I can't count on him and my teammates can't count on him.
There you go.
Got a different agenda. I said, I have
Yep.
2 other guys that can play the same positions who are going to be better than these guys, and we'll have a better team.
Oh,
And he
man.
didn't listen to me. So I wind up, losing my job and doing it. The 2 guys I wanted both wound up in the NBA.
Yep. See, there you go. And again, it's because you know the game. You know how to win. You know how to build a team, and that knowledge that you can share. Oh my goodness, it's endless. This is Rick. I've had so much fun with this. I've really enjoyed it.
Coaches, and get my son a job. Will you please?
Hey, we need to hustle on that.
Here's why. I even said to him, I had something in the business thing that I was doing. My son's, he's never had a B. Okay. He got his degree in physics, and then he's got his master's in nuclear engineering. Okay. So I said to him, I said, look, I know that the game hasn't been as good to you as it should be. I said, but here's the deal. I have something here business-wise and all that. I will turn you on to this and do this, but you have to promise me one thing, because I think you can make enough money here that you would probably want to do this for the rest of your life. I said, but you have to promise me. I'm going to give. He said, what's that? I said, I'll give this to you on the promise that you will continue to try to make it to the NBA and continue to play basketball, even if it's the 3-on-3 world tour or whatever, because I love watching you play. And I don't want to be deprived of that joy of watching you play, because you could play for another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And I want to watch you. I said, so you have to promise me that I'll turn this on to you and you can do it. But you got to promise me. I said, okay. He said, okay. And so I told him what it was, and we'll see how that happens. What happens.
Yeah, I love it.
My boys play. I absolutely love watching my boys play basketball.
I've enjoyed watching my adopted son play, and just to see his maturation and his savvy. And you could tell, we've had him around the right NBA people, because he was a sponge. Thank goodness he was a sponge and learned, and all the tapes are breaking down. So it's interesting, because as a coach, you have such a feel, but yet when you watch your kids play, you get this different type of nervousness, but excitement. And it's so rewarding to see them have those successes. So I get it, my friend. I get it.
My wife, who was the only woman to have her jersey retired at her alma mater, was an academic All-American. And one thing I'm proud of is that in the history of the NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball, the only mother and son combination to have the mother be a 2-time academic All-America and the son a 2-time academic All-America. In fact, my son was academic All-America Player of the Year in his last year. It was my wife and my son.
That's awesome.
And I mean, think about this though. My son got to play in his one season when he was at Charleston. I think it was Charleston when he was playing at Charleston. He played a game in the same season in an arena where his mother's retired jersey was hanging, and in an arena where his father's retired jersey was hanging.
That's awesome. Hey, I don't think you can get any better than that, Rick. That's cool.
Oh, I mean, he's a great kid, deserves better. And I honestly, I do, Coach. I thank God every night. I said, God, thank you so much for giving my son, giving Canyon, the attitude and the demeanor to deal with being treated so unfairly in his basketball career. I mean, it's sad that I even have to say that.
Yeah.
But it's really true. It is really true. He has been treated so unfairly, and yet he deals with it so incredibly mature. I would go out of my mind if that was happening to me. I'm pretty darn sure I would have to have a confrontation. I mean, I couldn't do it. But I've never been a meddling father.
Yeah.
I don't meddle with the coaches. I tell the coach stuff. I said, Coach, if you want to call and talk to me, I'll be happy to talk to you about anything you want to talk about anytime, but it's on you. You're not going to hear from me. I don't meddle.
Yeah.
Now, it's been extremely difficult for me
to
maintain that feeling that I have of not being a meddler, but I did it. And it was very difficult for me not to do it. And I look back on it and I say to myself, I wish I hadn't. I should have meddled. No, because I really should have meddled. My son should have been in the NBA. I mean, he really should have been, if given. And it was just a matter in the same way with my wife doing stuff. They wanted him to do the academics. He went to Florida because of the fact that they had a nuclear reactor.
Wow.
So, I mean, he had other places, 2 other places he could have gone. One of the coaches who was there said to me, Rick, if your son had come play for me, he would have been one of the leading scorers in the country. He said, I would have run my entire offense through him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
he was never given that opportunity where he played, and yet he accepted his roles and he did it because he's the consummate team player. He's
Yep.
a coach's dream. I mean, but I'm saying to myself, yeah, but the thing is that, and he's such a, he's just got so many interests in doing it. He's just not your normal athlete.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
He plays like 6 musical instruments. He self-taught himself how to play stuff. He and his friend created a more difficult Rubik's Cube because the other Rubik's Cube was too easy to do. I mean, crazy stuff like that.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
He kite surfs. He does these things. He slack lines. He does so many unbelievable things. I just pray. I said, here's my thing. God has a plan for everybody, and there's a reason that everything in life happens for a reason. So I'm thinking, okay, son, and he's accepted it well. If he had gone to the NBA, he never would have had a chance to stand on that podium with a gold medal and the national anthem playing with USA on his chest, winning a world championship in 3x3. And I'm praying that they qualify and he can go, and hopefully he can maybe become an Olympian and maybe he can have a gold medal. It's the biggest disappointment in my career, not getting to be an Olympian. And I felt I should have, because that's a whole nother story. And maybe this is the reason why, because had he gone to the NBA, that never would have happened.
Would happen, yeah.
So maybe this is the way it's meant to be, and then whatever God has in store for him, you just accept it and you go on. So I'm praying. There's still plenty of time left, and unfortunately, my wife doesn't think it'll ever happen. I said, no, there's guys who get into the NBA later in life. Yep. Can you explain to me? I'm going to ask you a question. It's your show, but I'm going to ask you a question. Why are teams putting so much money and investment in younger guys who don't have the experience, may not have the maturity or the knowledge, when they can get older guys who would be far better for their teams and they would have more success?
Yeah. And see, Rick, I don't know if there's an answer to that. I see so many guys that feel like they have to do it because they have an opportunity to be. Come on, man, you win with talent. And
who cares if they plays in college? I don't care what you did in college.
Amen.
It's a different game on the pro level.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly.
There's more guys that are busts than are great successes.
Yep.
So why would you get a guy who's older, who's played, that you can see knows how to play, and bring him in to make you a better team?
Amen.
You see the guy that when you see a LeBron, you say, oh, this guy, no brainer. When I saw Kevin Durant in college, I'm sitting with Jerry West, we said, no brainer. Yep. Okay. There are those. If it's not that kind of guy, why invest multi-millions in a guaranteed no-cut contract when you can save your money, go out and get a guy who's older with experience to bring him on your team to make your team a better team?
That's right. And see, I'm with you. I think it infuriates me that they bring in these guys that don't have the talent, don't know how to play, and don't understand the game. And there's a risk in that because they might as well just take their money and throw it out the window, because in 3 years to try to develop that player, the new contract's going to go up and then they're going to go. So you've invested time and money and energy into a guy who's not even going to be there with your franchise. Bring in players who can play, because the league is so saturated right now with kids who can't play. Yes.
And they'll come for less money.
Yes. Amen. I'm singing the same song you are right there, my friend, because the way you asked the question, we already know the answers to it. It's just bad business. Come on.
Horrible business.
Yes, I agree. Well, let me ask you this one thing. I know we've gone over a little bit, and I've got to have you come back on because this is such a fun conversation for me, because you get it. Man, how fun would it be to be sitting around talking basketball while you're out in Alaska catching those silvers, or you've got the fly line and you wrap into one of those tarpons? Come on, man, that's a lot of fun. Is it or is it not?
Oh no, it's all about the strike. Okay, in fact, my wife, I was thinking of getting you one of those T-shirts that had, the tug is the drug. I said, yeah, that's me, man, because every strike is an adrenaline rush for me.
It is.
I don't care about if it's a bucket list kind of fish that I don't have a photo of stuff up, then I'm going to work it and do stuff and try to get it in because I want a picture. But if it's not, thank God up in Alaska with the fly fishing, it's barbless hooks, so I can get them off. So
there you go.
All about I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah. Okay?
I want as many strike. I just was in Alaska. I went out one time with the guide. The guides all know that I'm serious about hooking up. Right, I want to get 100 fish a day. That's my goal. In Alaska, you do that. I mean, I do it on a regular basis. So I go up one time by myself. So, and I'm happy to do that. But generally I go up, and a lot of times I do stuff and bring up a group and whatever, or bring up friends, and usually Clifford and his teammate, Bobby Campbell from Oklahoma that played with him, goes with us, and he brings some people. We have a great time. But so the guide, when I'm up by myself, I'm up at Rainbow River Lodge, and I know the owners there, and up at Iliamna River Lodge, two of the lodges that they own. And so the guide says, well, Rick, you know, we fly up to the lake above where the lodge is. It's on the Copper River, and we're going to go, and you float the Copper and come back down. But we went with a little raft with a motor, and so we were going to go up where the people don't go. So the guide says to me, he says, Rick, he says, you know, I think, you know, we should be able to get 100 today. I said, whoa, wait a second. I said, I get 100 floating. I said, we're going on a freaking place where people haven't been that we can go. I said, look, if we don't get 100 fish hooked up, you may not make it back to the lodge. And so we got 100 so fast. He said, Rick, I think we can get 200. I said, let's go for it.
There you go.
It was unbelievable. He bring that thing in. He changed the freaking fly. Go, nope, let's go. Jump in the thing, zoom to another spot, get out. We stopped because we had to get back because we have to drop the raft off and stuff, and then the boats take us back to the river to the lodge. And so I stopped only because we had to leave, and I just picked because my number was 24 when I played. 224 hookups I had, strikes. And hookups.
Oh, that's fun.
224 in one day. I was just down at my friend. It was unbelievable. Terry Holland, who has this great Lake Baccarat fishing lodge for bass down in Mexico.
I saw those pictures, my man. That's fun right there.
200 hookups in 6.5 hours. And then the other day I had 175. And then one day, just for fun, I did speed fishing. I'd never done this with the guide. It was crazy. My guy, Narlin, I'd cast that sucker out the bait caster. I'd rather do fly fishing, but you get more when you get bait. So I cast.
Oh, yeah.
And now you got to do crankbait. So that's like you're reeling quick. And then as soon as I hit a fish and I get him up and get him close to the boat, Narlin would take another rod with the thing, and he'd cast the thing way the hell out there. I get it up to the boat, pass him the one to get the fish off and do it. Grab the other rod, start running, boom. Then 18 times in a row, I had 36 fish. Like in 1 hour and 20 minutes, we hooked 100 fish.
Wow.
That's the most tired I've ever been. I was worn out.
Your forearm had to be killing you.
But that's so much fun. I love it.
But see, my dad's a tournament bass fisherman, and you know, he did circuits all over the Midwest, and then I would go down to Florida. When my grandparents were in the central part of Florida, we were in Lake Placid, and, you know, and to catch a 10 pounds largemouth, there's nothing better than I saw those pictures.
I said I'd been down to some other places trying to do it, never had a double-digit bass. Oh no, I had one, but I had peacock bass in Brazil in the Amazon. I had a 19 something pound peacock bass, which was just awesome.
Oh, and there's a strike for you right there.
Oh, and they hit like a vengeance. Oh my God, that was so incredible. So first hour and a half that I'm down at Terry's place down there at Lake Baccarat, 10.5 pound largemouth bass.
Attaboy.
In the picture. And then I caught, you know, some other ones, you know, 8 pounders, a ton of 7 and 6s. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Rick, let's go fishing, man. Let's go. I'm out here in Salt Lake City. Let's go make it happen.
It's very reasonable. Alaska is pretty expensive, but to me, it's worth every single penny. So, yeah, I know. Make sure I have all your information and stuff. If you're up for a fishing trip, I go to some really cool places. So,
I love that line. The tug is the drug, man. I'm with you.
That's exactly right. So anyway, listen, God bless all your listeners and watching viewers or whatever. I hope everybody stays healthy, and let's get just back, like I said earlier, to some semblance of civility and get out of this COVID and get people back, and let's get back to life the way it was. I mean,
amen. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, but I'm glad we've had this opportunity through Zoom to connect and share and talk, and hopefully, you know, put some tools in the toolbox for our listeners and viewers out there, because there's been a lot of great nuggets.
Another job. The coach that loved him, that was coaching in the G League team, I think is getting a job. He may be getting a job down in Australia. And said, well, of course, my son would love to do that, because if he goes down there, he can, you know, he can stay in after and go. He loves to surf. He loves to do the other stuff. I mean, Australia's great. I mean, so
quality of life, yeah, longevity career.
Don't have fun playing and get a chance to play because he deserves it. He's a great kid.
I love it, man. Well, listen, Rick, I appreciate you. Let's have you come back on again because, again, this was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Nice to talk to you. Take care.
You got it, my man. Listen, everybody, that's Rick Barry. We've had a great time talking here for this last hour. I can't thank him enough for his time, his wisdom, his knowledge, his expertise, the nuggets. I thank you. And again, we're going to do it again. But again, this is the Coach Scott Field Show. Like and follow us on Facebook. Catch us on our podcast, DBNA TV on Roku, and also Amazon Fire and TBS. But then also our social media, Instagram at Coach Scott Fields, Twitter, Scott_Fields. Follow us on our YouTube page. We're kind of getting that up and going. But to have this guy on this show just makes it that much better, and I can't thank you enough. My heart is filled with gratitude, my friend. Thank you, Rick.
I really enjoyed it. Take care.
You bet. God bless everybody, and see us on our next show coming up real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bring it in. Thank you for watching the Coach Scott Field Show, the nation's #1 digital coaches show. This DBNA television broadcast is a Roar Media production. Don't forget to subscribe to the Coach's YouTube channel. Like and follow him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have yourself dressed and ready to go in the locker room for the next exciting show coming soon. Thank you for watching the Coach Scott Field Show, the nation's #1 digital coaches show. This DBNA television broadcast is a Roar Media production.